everybody, and welcome back to your favorite generational podcast. That's right. Is it Boomer versus Zoomer? Whoa, very teetotaling, pinky out, fancy man, Asterios Boomer over here with his Diet Coke. I am your Zoomer hero, Mumpky Jones, joined as always, of course, by Asterios Kokonos.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. Thanks for listening. Glad to have you.
Now, folks, I'm going to be frank with you. We've got a lot on the agenda today. Really, it's my agenda. I haven't told Asterios about any of my plans today. I have what some might consider a 13-step plan. Never throughout history has anybody had any sort of malicious, maniacal 13-step plan before. Certainly nobody dressed perhaps in a doctor's lab coat, and perhaps also a propeller hat. Speaking of which, I am, of course, explaining my physical appearance, something you'll only get from the video version of this show. And before we jump into my 13 steps here, Asterios, we should let everybody know that the free handouts are over, baby! Forget Bernie Sanders, forget Yang Gang. We're going full Trumpian with this podcast, folks. For 23 episodes now, 23 episodes, we've been so gracious giving out the video feed of this show for free, clogging up our YouTube subscription feeds, receiving thousands upon thousands of comments saying, please stop uploading this. I don't want to watch the show. I don't care. So we've decided, you know what? 23 freebies, that's pretty damn good. We've given them the free dime bag of, I assume, the cocaine or whatever you boomers are doing these days. And now that they're addicted, they've got the taste for it. Now it's time, I think, to start earning some cheddar, which is why I'm announcing that this podcast will always be free on the iTunes download feed, the Podbean, all those fun podcast places. But if you want to watch the video version, starting next episode, you have to go to either patreon.com/Asterios or patreon.com/Mumpky. Personally, I'm tired of throwing it up and ruining my sub box for people who don't give a shit. And Asterios also likes making money. What do you think about this, Asterios? Is it a positive change?
Well, for me, like, I kind of don't see much of a choice. Something strange is happening to me on YouTube. I'll post screenshots of it or something. Every single thing I upload is now getting demonetized immediately, no matter what. All of it. Now, look, I understand this happening to you.
Yeah.
You're like some sort of weird internet creep. The shit I put out is like Nick Jr. level controversial. The Loudest Podcast, it's like a guy and his girlfriend talking about the Big Bang Theory.
I don't know. There's an awful... I think the last two episodes had porn in the title. It was like, come learn about having sex. Here's what Sriracha likes to flicker bean to it. I don't know if it's the Nick Jr. standard.
I don't know. Doesn't H3H3 have all these like videos about fisting or something? I don't know. I'm sure he or she does. I don't know what H3H3 is. That might be like a computer with a fucking propeller hat on it for all I fucking know. But like, no, everything. I think YouTube has now flagged the phrases "the Loudest Podcast" and "Boomer versus Zoomer." I'm absolutely not kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like I put this stuff up, it immediately gets flagged, and I feel like we're putting all this hard work into it, and it's like, all right, well, YouTube, if you don't want me around, I can fucking take the hint. So like, all right, we're going to upload these things to our Patreons now where hopefully we'll get some goddamn respect.
Right. And ultimately, at the end of the day, our master plan goal is 10,000 average downloads through iTunes and all those things. So really, by putting out a free video version of the show, we are not encouraging people to listen to it in the way that actually benefits us. We're like, I guess 5,000 views a week will just be flushed away on YouTube, and we won't make a penny from it because we're demonetized. So I think this is the best way to grow the podcast in the way that we want it to grow.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with this. I think it's a smart idea. It's. I think it is absolutely a shame that you kind of can't make a living on YouTube anymore. Years and years ago, you could upload something and it would get hits, and you might be able to live like at least like a lower middle class living from YouTube ad rev. And those days are gone, and it's really, really sad. It's like, what, Google doesn't have enough fucking money? They're running like Coke ads against people's content. Like, they can't break off like enough money for the regular Joe and Jane podcaster. So it's just like, fuck it. Enough with the fucking Google YouTube shit. I'm so goddamn done with it.
Well, Asterios, it sounds like perhaps this has you emotionally kerfuffled. I've heard, just in that last statement, you said words like sad, it's upsetting, all these things. And before we go through my 13 steps, Asterios, there's something I need to introduce you to.
Okay.
It's a newfound life philosophy. I remember one time in middle school, my druggy friend came up to me and said, I had an epiphany. And it was funny because epiphany was one of our vocab words that week in class. So it always stuck with me that not only did he learn and memorize the meaning of this word, but now he was using it. And ever since then, just in time for his real life epiphany. So I've been waiting for so long to have an epiphany of my own so I can reenact my 12-year-old friend's epiphany he had all those decades ago. So Asterios, my boomer friend, I'm here to tell you that I too have had a 7th grade level vocab word. I've had the epiphany, Asterios. I think it's about time I introduced you, and I'm dying to hear what you think about this, because you've probably heard about it in your circles already, but perhaps not. Asterios, what do you know about Clown World?
Oh, God. Nothing. I've never heard that phrase before, but if you're saying it like that, it's not good, because you said it with the same inflection that somebody one time, a long time ago, said to me, what have you heard about cake farts? What have you heard about goatsy? What have you heard about, what's another fucking goddamn, Slender Man? Like, is this going to be another one of those goddamn internet things where like one clown ate another clown's dick?
Well, no. In fact, I think Clown World is what will set you free. It has set me free, Asterios. I am now a free man. I was once burdened by the shackles of society. I had to live each and every day knowing that we live in a society. But once you embrace Clown World, Asterios, that society begins to melt away. Let's begin with a loaded question, Asterios. What are your thoughts on Pepe the Frog?
It's weird. You can't Google Pepe the Frog and not find, like, a Pepe the Frog dressed up like a Nazi gassing people. Like, you can't.
Sure.
It's right fucking there.
Yeah.
At the same time, I feel like it's a bit of a gray area, because I think there are a lot of 12-year-olds who legitimately use this Pepe character to express emotions. Kind of like a 60-year-old woman would use a minion to express that she's, like, tired of the bullshit at work that day. Like, sometimes when a kid is sad, he'll post, like, a Pepe of this goddamn frog in bed crying. And it's like, well, this kid's not using this goddamn frog to express anti-Semitism right now. Maybe he will 5 minutes from now. And so, I'm sorry, I know this is a long answer, but it's like...
no, take your time. I'm going to have an even longer response.
Okay, thank you, because it's like, in fucking today's society, you can only be for
We live in
something.
a society, Asterios. You might... don't forget that.
And well, in this fucking society that we live in this prison we live in,
right,
everything is either the best or the worst, especially on the internet and especially in entertainment. Nobody fucking turns on the TV news to watch two people agreeing to disagree about things. They want to see two people take each other's fucking heads off. So it's like, right now, these words I'm saying, someone might twist these words and fucking spin up some kind of pro-Nazi sentiment. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, shit's complicated. I mean, that's kind of the long and the short of it. I feel like a lot of really shitty people use this frog in a shitty way. feel like there's probably like 11-year-olds who use it the same way one might relate to Charlie Brown, like I did when I was a kid. Charlie Brown's sad. Linus needs a security blanket. Snoopy dreams of being a great author one day, even though he can't write for shit. Like, it's weird. It's complicated.
Okay. Well, I'm going to explain my philosophy on this art piece, Pepe the Frog.
Okay.
And of course, with any piece of art, it's always open to interpretation. So perhaps if somebody at home has a different interpretation as my own, that is fine. But this interpretation is the cornerstone, the staple, and the philosophy that has inspired my epiphany as stereo. So we have a lot of layers of things going on here. It is based on my experience. I see Pepe the Frog and Wojak the Feels guy. Are you familiar with the Feels guy?
I literally just learned the term Wojak last week. Like that, it's the fucking weirdly drawn heads.
Wojak the Feel. Wojak the Feel, don't act like you don't know.
I don't know that song.
You don't know BoJack Horseman theme song?
No, I don't watch BoJack Horseman.
Whoa!
It's sad. It's about a suicidal horse and his suicidal friends. Life's sad enough. I want to watch Bob's Burgers.
How many people have said to you, Asterios, you should watch BoJack? I bet you'd really relate to the character.
All of them.
Yeah, too many.
All of them have said. I fucking watched an episode the other goddamn day, and
of what? Of BoJack?
Of BoJack, because fucking Sriracha is watching a goddamn episode of BoJack. It's like these. This waitress and this dog are on a Hollywood non-date.
It's Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, I just relate to this way too much. Like, I relate to both of these characters way too much. I lived in LA for fucking 14 years. It's like, I want to escape my reality.
That's why you need Big Bang Theory.
I love the Big Bang Theory. Right. Oh my God, it's so great. All right, anyway, the clown world. Okay. Keep going. Sorry. So I don't want to rush you along. I'm sorry.
No, this can be a 4-hour episode of Stereos.
Wow.
That's the philosophy of clown world. I've given up on caring about how long this podcast is anymore. Asterios, I see these memes of Pepe and Wojak. They are used, like you said, to express people's emotions in the same way you might connect to a Charlie Brown or those types of characters. And the people using them typically are those who feel as though they're missing something. They don't fit into society. They feel victimized, like they don't fit in. All these things, all these negative emotions. Even the people who are posting the anti-Semitic ones, clearly they're hurt in some way, and they're trying to use these memes to cope with it or to spread their own interpretation of hatred, all those things. And the way I see it, these memes can be classified into the 5 stages of grief. These people online are grieving because they don't fit in, and they're using these memes as their way to fit in. So, of course, you got the 5 stages. You got denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I think up until this year, Wojak and Pepe have done a fine job of doing those first 4, the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression. Most Wojak and Pepe memes are about anger and depression, and it's how these people are coping through the grief they feel. But now, in 2019, there has been an evolution in memes, an evolution in human psychology, Asterios. You are looking at an enlightened, evolved man standing before you, because we've all been through it. We don't fit in. We've been through the denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression. But now, thanks to Clown World, we have reached stage 5, acceptance. Clown Pepe, a Pepe the Frog dressed up as a clown, who has accepted that he lives in a society that is cruel and unfair, that he has no power in. There is no use being angry or sad about the world around you if you have no power over changing any of it. You have no power. All you can do is sit there and take it. An individual person cannot change the world. You have to accept the absurdity of the clown society we're all stuck in and embrace it and become the clown yourself. What are your thoughts? I see you're really inquisitive over there.
Has the rise in clown pepes coincided at all with the release of the Joker teaser trailer?
People are really big fans of that Joker trailer. What do you think? You're gonna go see Joaquin Phoenix?
I might go see that movie, because I like Todd Phillips.
You do? What has he done other than Hangover 1 that was good?
Old School is fantastic.
Oh, well, that's pretty old. That's a boom.
Yeah. You probably came up. I saw it in fucking college. Todd Phillips also. He made a fucking documentary a long time ago about Gigi Allen. Todd Phillips, he's not like a good director or editor, but he's like a good storyteller. All the moments in Old School are funny. They look like shit. Sometimes they'll do a cut and a guy will just jump across the frame. There's absolutely no continuity, but everything in that movie is funny. Hangover 1 is fantastic. Mm-hmm. And so with this new Joker movie, it kind of looks like this guy maybe learned how to direct, or maybe got a good cinematographer or something. But seriously, though, is this clown thing like a Joker thing? Because in the fucking Joker teaser trailer, it's all about the goddamn Joker realizing that his life isn't a tragedy, it's a comedy. Society's the thing that beats him up and makes him crazy. So I guess he learns to look on the bright side of life, kind of like at the end of Life of Brian when they're all fucking whistling on the fucking crucifixes.
Yeah, I could see the Joker movie being an inspiration, but the clown world paradigm, I think, has been around a few months before that trailer came out.
Interesting. Okay. No, well, that's a very interesting confluence. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so I think all the new evolved clown world men out there will be lining up to see this movie when it comes out in October.
Now, I've seen the Bloomer Wojak. Have we ever discussed bloomers on this show?
We did, yeah, a few episodes back.
Okay,
it's like a Zoomer who has a positive outlook on life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the Wojak face smiling. There's like a flower blooming behind him. He's standing up straight and he's looking forward to being able to affect change in the world. We call this show Boomer versus Zoomer, but I often wonder if this show isn't secretly Bloomer versus Doomer. A guy who's trying to get his shit together, and a guy who's just kind of fucking given up, who got punched real hard in the teeth by life, and is just kind of oh God, fucking I want to go back to sleep.
I don't think Clown World fits into either Bloomer or Doomer. It is somebody, because the Bloomer has an optimistic outlook. The Doomer has a pessimistic one. Clown World has embraced the mania, the absurdity of the world around them, and said, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. And that's not even a pessimistic thing. It's optimistic pessimism, if anything. You're saying, this is the only life we get. When we die, literally nothing happens. It's a fantasy fairy tale. We can all accept that. Tip your fedoras all you want. This is the only existence I get. And the world is a mess. No matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, you probably think that the world fucking sucks. Both left, the right, everybody, for whatever reason, thinks that society is wrong and needs to be fixed. And the idea of embracing Clown World is to accept that there's nothing we can do to fix it. Society is fucked. It's a mess. We don't agree with so many things that are out there in the world. So why not just have fun? Be the clown. Why stress and put in so much hard work to try to change things that you have no power over? When you're 80 years old, Asterios, on your deathbed, are you going to think back and think, oh man, I'm so glad I dedicated 90% of my energy to things that I had no control over? Or will you think, man, I'm glad I dedicated 100% of my energy to having a good fucking time, baby? Oh, Clown World! That's right! When you give up on hope, hope gives up on you, and you don't need it in Clown World. You don't need it. I've embraced it, Asterios. I'm a new man, and I don't think anything could get me down anymore. You could burn down my fucking house, my girlfriend can dump me, I could be living on the street. If you embrace Clown World, these things can't hurt you. Are you familiar with the internet legend, Plain Potatoes?
What? No. What is that?
There's this guy, Plain Potatoes, and I watched. I think he doesn't do it on YouTube. He does it on Instagram, but people have made compilations of his work on YouTube, where this guy, just filming himself on his phone, will walk up to groups of people in public and just pretend that he knows them, and he won't break kayfabe no matter what. No matter what, he'll sit down at a table with a family eating dinner, and he'll just be filming them like, "Oh, Karen, what was up with what you said to me last weekend, Karen?" And he's like shoving his camera in their face and stuff, and they're getting just furious. These people are screaming at him, telling him, "Get the fuck away from me before I attack you." And he never breaks character, no matter what. He just stays in that character. He gets arrested and continues doing it to the police. He's a teenage black kid. And he got arrested by a black cop, and he said, Dad, really, Dad, you're gonna do this to me? You're embarrassing me in front of my friends, Dad," like filming this cop as he's being arrested. And I realized this man was the originator of Clown World. He cannot be defeated because he doesn't care. He doesn't fucking care at all. You can arrest him and he'll keep fucking clowning. And I realized he's the most powerful person you can be, because he doesn't care. And if you don't care, you can't be defeated. It is like being invincible, joining Clown World. And I think Asterios, instead of worrying and feeling so much pain and guilt and oh, Trump is ruining this and that and oh, blah, 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 instead of just worrying about that stuff, if you just embraced that the world will not change based on your opinion and just laugh it out, because like the Joker in the new Todd Phillips movie says, you don't gotta throw me into a vat of acid like the 80s Joker. You throw me into society in the year 2019. That's right.
Well, look, man, I gotta say, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And if these are the tenets of Clown World, I feel like I'm kind of half living there already. Yeah, look, it's you'll go fucking crazy if you spend all of your time focusing on things that are completely out of your control.
Right.
You'll go absolutely crazy. I don't necessarily agree that you should it's difficult. Should you care what other people think? No. Should you go around on your phone like Mr. Potato Man and like fuck with people? Yeah, you absolutely should. But that guy isn't. Here's the thing, like Mr. Potato Man's not. He's not a passenger on the ride that is his own life. He's actively going after what he wants, which is to fuck with people. And I know this is like a very fine line, but I have suffered, the depression I've suffered in the past has been this, like, well, I can't fucking change my situation anyway, so I might as well just sit here and smile and wait till I die. Like, that's not good.
Well, Clown World doesn't want you to sit there and smile. It wants you to start laughing and play along.
Okay, see, now that I can get behind. It's kind of like, if in Clown World you are always pursuing the things that make you smile and make you laugh, I think that's a good thing. For example, just a strategy that I used to have with when I would ask a girl out in person, and you used to have to do that. Like, it was terrible. Like, I would ask a girl if she wanted to go out sometime, and then most of the time she would say no. And then I would just be like, oh, okay, well, I wanted to ask. And then sometimes the girl would be like, wait, are you you're not going to freak out or get sad or yell at me? And I'd be like, no, I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to go out, we don't have to go. We're not going out. And then so many times, the girl would later that night be like, all right, let's make out. I do like the idea of not letting the slings and arrows of life stick you and stab you too hard. You know what I mean? So, if Clown World means kind of being an agent for yourself, your own agent of chaos.
That's right.
Being motivating yourself to get the things you want, even if you think don't deserve them or shouldn't have them, that you go out there and fucking at least try to get them. And if you don't get them, that it's not a big deal, and that you don't like end up all sad and angry. I mean, I don't know. Is that clown worldy to you?
I think that's clown worldy to me. It's
okay.
You abandon those first 4 stages of grief. No more anger. No more sadness. You just have to embrace the mania and enjoy the ride, because once the ride ends, you don't exist anymore.
I mean, honestly, acceptance. It's hard to argue with acceptance. You know what I mean? Like, you accept your circumstances. Maybe I didn't grow up rich. You accept your circumstances. Maybe I'm not the best looking guy in the world. But like, you accept your circumstances. Like, you know, maybe I can't run a fucking 4-minute mile right now. But like, goddamn, I'm not gonna let these things stop me from living my life and having fun. Yeah. That's very hard to argue with, Monkey.
I don't know why anybody would want to argue with it. It's
because the symbol of this is a goddamn Nazi frog. Like, that's gonna turn off a lot of people right away.
That was just one of the early 4 stages of grief, Asterios. We all go through that anger stage, and their anger was towards the Jews.
Oh, God damn, Jesus Christ. Like, you know, but you know, good messages oft have imperfect messengers. So how the hell did you fucking hear about, like, how are you getting into this? Like, what is it about this? Because now you're talking about this, I have seen some fucking clown frog around.
Yeah.
Like, I usually keep scrolling because I'm just like, oh God, what is this person going to say about people of the Jewish faith? Like, but how did you get into this? Walk me through this.
It's not that difficult. I just on Twitter, I saw a few Clown World memes, and then I saw a video that I thought was really funny with Clown Pepe. Just like, you have all the crying and all the angry Wojaks and Pepes in the background, but then Clown World Pepe walks in on a beach ball, and he's just like honking his nose and smiling, and I was like, yeah, I should be like that one and not like the ones in the background. He doesn't give a fuck.
It is the best looking Wojak. I saw a Wojak 5 stages of grief about converting from Trumpism to Yang Gangism. Like, you know, what are the 5 stages again?
Denial, bargaining, right, anger, depression.
So denial was like, he might still build the wall. He might still do it. And then like anger was like, God damn, to all these other people that are stopping him from building the wall. And then depression is like, oh God, I wasted my vote. And then acceptance is just like, Yang Gang, 2020, get the bag, $1,000 a month.
Hell yeah.
Pew, 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 crypto, Yang Gang.
$1,000 a month, Yang Gang.
If Yang Gang is Clown World, then I also like Clown World.
It's whatever you want it to be.
God damn it. How long have you been on the clown pill?
I think
How long have you been clown pilled for?
It's been about 2 days.
What? Did you hit rock bottom and then take the clown? Like I am very interested in your journey to clownism. I am.
Well, I think we should save that for future episodes.
Sure.
Because as we all know, every episode that is a prime number, we have to do a quality report from the audience. This is a long time bit. We did it episode 1, we did it episode 2, we did it episode 3, did it episode 5, and now here in episode 23, we have to do it again. In Stereos, we have some feedback from the audience that I think we need to address.
Well, I can't wait to hear it.
We had a user named Sue Slime who wanted to let us know from the last episode, episode 22, man, you guys talk about absolutely nothing at times. I felt like you guys were talking about getting drunk and drugs for a good hour until I realized I was only 10 minutes into the podcast. How the hell do you manage to craft this kind of talent? So it seems that Sue Slime is under the impression that perhaps this podcast is aimless and wasting his time. Is that the impression you got from that comment?
I saw that comment because I read literally everything that anybody could be writing about me on every site, in every medium, on every app. I have a Google alert for my name. I am absolutely shameless about that. I remember one time a long time ago, Dick was like, how can you not read if people are talking about you? How can you not read the things that they're saying about you? And I was like, I feel the exact same way. Oh my God, someone wants to talk about me. That's so weird. With that guy specifically, I kind of didn't get the criticism.
The impression I get is that perhaps our podcast is not up to the standard of other podcasts. Because you have a show like my favorite podcast of all time is still The Biggest Problem in the Universe. I think you're familiar with that show. Have you listened to that one before?
I may have heard it once or twice in passing.
But what's great about that show is that it has a very distinct gimmick where each episode each guy brings in a problem or two, you talk about them, you vote on them, you go on, and it's like week to week, you expect the same exact thing, but different. You get the same thing, but different. And I think poor Sue Slime and other people like him are realizing this show doesn't have that sort of gimmick. In my mind, the show was two friends who are 13 years apart in age catch up on each other's lives every week and try to make each other laugh. I thought that was a good enough gimmick. But they seem to think perhaps that's not a good gimmick at all. So I did some research.
Okay.
I was wondering, how can we make this podcast more like every other podcast that has ever existed? And I found here, it's called a website called Live 365, article by Michelle Ruhoff, written December 27th, 2018. I guess they did not get a Christmas break or a holiday break over at Live 365. She has an article called 13 Creative Podcast Segment Ideas. So, Asterios, I think we should go through rapid fire all 13 of these podcast segment ideas that any good podcast should have. We're going to do all of them very quickly. And
that's an amazing idea.
Well, I'm going to send you a Word document.
I've got it up. I just Googled it. I haven't read down yet.
Okay, go to the Word document instead.
All right, I'll go to the Word document and let me close it because I don't want to read too far ahead. Okay, I'm at number 1.
Okay. So I'm gonna read through each of her listings on here, and we'll then perform them for you, the people.
Sounds good.
Segment number 1, Q&A. Ask your listeners on social media to send in questions and randomly select a few on your podcast to answer. So I did this, and we have a few questions here. So I guess I'll begin reading the first one. Lions Fan 31 wants to know, Asterios, would you recommend working on projects in a public place like a coffee shop, or is it better to work at home?
The reason I like working in public places like a coffee shop is that if you buy a cup of coffee, you are guilted into doing something because otherwise you wasted that money. Like, I could sit around all day and jerk off at my house. But, like, if I'm out in public, like I know Sriracha really likes working in coffee shops because she's like, well, I can't go to Kiwi Farms. Like, people might see it, and people might see me on /B or whatever the fuck 4chan shit she does. Also, sometimes those coffee shops have those great time-wasting sites blocked.
Oh, good.
Just personally, I recommend the coffee shop gimmick. I think it's a good idea. What do you think?
That question was just for you. They were very specific. So but the next one's for me if you want to read the next one.
Oh, sure. Okay, let me scroll down. I'm trying not to read ahead. Okay.
I can read the name if you want.
No, well, how about neither of us reads the... Okay, there's a reference to... There's a reference to an atrocity here that happened to a very specific group of people during World War II.
Approximately 6 million of them.
And then the number 420, which is always a fun way to end your usernames.
Yeah.
This user wants to know, Mumkey, you're a fucking loser and you should kill yourself. This doesn't seem like a question.
Brigade Brittany wants to know... Hey, Asterios, I'm 25, a college graduate, and I've been at my current job for 3 years, but I still suffer from imposter syndrome. Does that feeling ever go away?
No, it absolutely doesn't. What you have to do is realize that everybody else suffers from imposter syndrome. No one knows what they're doing. We're all improvising. And at the same time, you're out there, you're so worried, like, oh... Am I too fat in this shirt? Does my hair look like shit? Almost no one is paying attention to you because everybody's worried about the fact that they look weird in their shirt and their hair looks like shit. So once you kind of just fucking put yourself on cruise control and realize that we're all faking it till we make it, life becomes easier, Brittany.
Okay, I think we have one more question for me.
Okay, and then Acidic Penis wants to know, Mumkey, when you kill yourself, can you please live stream it? I'd love to watch the life drain from the eyes of the most pathetic person I've ever seen. And again, that doesn't seem like a question. And it also seems hurtful. Are these people trying to, like, neg you into liking them? Like, why are they saying these terrible things to you?
Podcast segment number 2 is called Guest. It says, invite experts, friends, family, influencers, musicians, and other notable individuals to your podcast. Now, Asterios, unfortunately, I have to go to the bathroom, but I did get Kermit the Frog to agree to call in while I'm in the bathroom. So I guess, enjoy. I'm going to go to the bathroom over here. And
this is exciting. Okay.
Ring, ring, ring.
Okay, hold on. Let me pass you through here in Discord. Kermit, you're online now with Kermit the Frog. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Kermit the Frog here.
Kermit, hey, thanks so much for coming on. Now, I'm sorry to kind of open up with a tough question, but obviously the Muppets TV show on ABC got canceled a little bit prematurely. How are you feeling about that? How are you feeling about the work that you did on the Muppets mockumentary show?
Kermit the Frog here wants to give Miss Piggy my Kermy Spermies.
Okay, I mean, this is
hey guys, I'm back from the bathroom. How was the interview with Kermit the Frog, Asterios?
It honestly did not go well, but I think we're gonna make some news. Like, we definitely have the name for this episode. Like we got some hooky shit, fam. I'm pretty excited.
Okay, I guess we'll just keep going with, Q&A and guest segment. They both went so well. Let's go to the next one. Topical news, which means we get to bring back our fan favorite segment, Boomer News, Zoomer News. That's right. Asterios, first one is for you.
Okay, Boomer News. Tragedy strikes in Paris, where one of the Catholic Church's most historic and spiritually significant cathedrals, Notre Dame, burst into flames. Cardinal Nicholas has been quoted saying, "For the people of Paris, this is a disaster that touches their very soul." Cardinal Nicholas went on to say, what's even worse...
That's all it said.
Cardinal Nicholas went on to say, what's even worse, some of my best little boys were in that church.
Oh, wow.
Their little boy buttholes got burnt down.
I like the punchline better when it's just a sober thought and you don't say anything else.
I can't, God damn it, you can't fuck me like this. All right, what's your Zoomer news?
Zoomer news! Famous Twitch streamer Ninja is featured on the 4-pack of Red Bull I bought at the store today. What the fuck? I thought it was a ninja, not a bull. Talk about false advertising. Number 4 is recommendation. Give artist, song, album, recipe, product, tool, book, etc. Recommendations to your listeners. Asterios, is there anything great that's been that you've been perusing lately that you'd like to recommend to the people?
I just started reading a book called Making Rent in Bed-Stuy. It's about like a 35-year-old guy and it's his chronicles going through New York City trying to like kind of make his rent each month. I'm only about halfway through it, but it's the first book I've read that hasn't had Star or Wars in the title in about 10 years. And so I'm like, yeah, way to go, Boomer. Like, you're reading books, you're not drinking. Good, you're waking up on time. Good for you. Look at this book. And I'm on the subway. I could not be holding this book up like any higher. I'm like shoving it in people's faces. I'm pointing at the book like, I got a book. Like, very excited about my book.
It's not even an ebook. It's actually a physical copy with pages, right?
Yes. I got it at the library. Again,
wow, what a boomer.
I got a library card. I'm turning my life around, Monkey Jones.
Right.
So yeah, I would recommend that book. It's so far so good. How about you, Monkey Jones? You got anything you'd recommend?
Here's a real recommendation, folks. Forget that book nonsense. For years now, people have been begging me, Mumkey, you need to watch this Nickelodeon cartoon, Avatar: The Last Airbender. We would love to get your take on it, Mumkey. I've been binge watching it for the last few days. I'm about 2.5 seasons in, coming right up on the finale. And with all that being said, I would like to recommend this video I found online of men dressed up as the Ninja Turtles jerking off onto a pizza. Have you seen this video, Asterios?
I've seen the video where the Ninja Turtles jerk off onto April O'Neil.
Now, this is on YouTube. If you search Ninja Turtles Pizza Cum, it's like these guys, they like made these green duct tape Ninja Turtle outfits, and they've got giant dicks that have lotion inside the tip, or I think it's ranch, actually. It's ranch. And they're jerking off their giant cocks onto a pizza, and then they spurt ranch from the tip of their giant turtle penises onto the pizza.
Okay, I'm watching it now. It does open on an establishing shot of two cocks. Oh, no, those are their hands. Oh, no, those were their cocks. Oh, God. Okay, now Donatello and Michelangelo are making out. They look like they're wearing garbage bags. Someone just sawed into Raphael's head, and there's a watermelon inside, and now Donatello is scooping the watermelon brains out while... Oh, and now they're all okay, I gotta stop. Okay, I'm done. I made it halfway through.
So that's the recommendation segment. I think I guess we should move on then. Or?
Well, hey, I guess our listeners truly have both sides of the cultural rainbow here.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, what's the next segment?
Number 5, fact of the day. Do you know of or have you recently learned an interesting fact that your listeners would be interested in? Tell your listeners. So, I got actually more than one fact of the day. We have 2 facts, a Zoomer fact and a Boomer fact. I'll go first. Zoomer fact, blind people smile even though they've never seen anyone else smile.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking nice.
I thought that was like a nice, human psychology thing. Like, we don't learn smiling from observing it. It's like a naturally occurring thing that makes us, happy.
No, look, that's really cool. I think that's nice. Now, I have not scrolled down yet. Here's what I'm hoping not to find. Some sort of meme percentage about crime statistics and population statistics. Well, I'm going to scroll down now.
Just give it a read.
Oh, God. Boomer fact. World War II is famously one of the most exciting... No, I can't. I can't
you have
read this.
to read the Boomer.
No, I
fact.
don't. I absolutely do not have to read this Boomer fact. I will say it is our second.
To read it?
No, I honestly don't. Here's all I'll say. I'm really hoping we can just move on to number 6. This is our second reference to a historical and planetary altering war crime that reverberations and ramifications still affect people today.
Well, here's the thing, though. The first time we encountered that, a guy was trying to claim that it was a lie. I think this is just a fact about the war, Asterios. This isn't offensive in any way.
I'm going to say that while these words on this piece of digital paper aren't in themselves offensive, perhaps the context in which they're presented, 2 jagoffs trying to make each other laugh over Discord.
So you think perhaps the juxtaposition of my fun fact being blind people smiling, juxtaposed with your fun fact about how many children died in the Holocaust, do you think that might be insensitive in some way?
I feel like there's a couple of reasons why this is insensitive. I feel like both you and I are really hitting on them. I'm sure if we put our heads together, we can find even more reasons why I shouldn't read this paragraph.
Number 6, story of the day. Have an interesting story about your life, food, your house, relationships, money, animals, or anything else? Share it with your listeners. And I thought this would be a good chance for us to compare our most embarrassing alcoholic endeavors, Asterios. We were going to do this months ago. We never did it. So, Asterios, what is your most embarrassing story of being drunk in public?
Oh, one time I said something fucking terrible. One time I was that's more embarrassing for the girl.
Oof.
Anytime, and this has happened to me like probably a dozen times. I'm super drunk. I'm at a party. I'm talking to a girl, and I go in for the kiss, and then the girl just like turns her cheek. That's happened to me so many goddamn times because every single time I've been way too drunk to interpret any social signals whatsoever.
Yep.
And then B, it's just a never-ending reminder that there's a better world out there that other handsomer people are living in.
Gotta embrace the clown world.
That hasn't happened to me in a long time because I've been in committed relationships pretty much since the entire time I've been in my 30s, but it was a rough 20s, Monkey Jones, and I never forget it. So I guess that's mine. It's not one story, but rather a pastiche of small, horrible little things that have formed the AIDS quilt that is my life. Monkey, your drunk story?
Here's one that you were actually present for, but I think you don't remember it because you were also drunk. We both got wasted. You, me, and Sarancha went out to see a show at, what is that, Improv?
UCB New York.
Yeah, UCB. We were leaving the show. It was, wow, a laugh a minute. Truly just the funniest thing I've ever seen personally. And we're wasted outside, standing on the corner of the street, waiting for our Uber to come get us and take us home. We're all way too drunk to do anything else. And I see a cop car sitting on the side of the street, and I pointed at it and said, hey, Sriracha, look, that cop's eating a donut, because he was eating a donut. And then to my horror, I realized his window was down, and he turns and stares at me, and I'm like, oh, nope, not today, officer. And I turn around, I'm like, oh man, public drunkenness, I'm probably at that level. I'm just gonna turn my back to this cop and wait for the Uber, and nothing came of it. But in that moment, I was very embarrassed that the cop heard me making fun of him.
I do remember us rushing to the 7-Eleven on the corner. I remember all of a sudden it was like, let's go to 7-Eleven, let's go to 7-Eleven. I was like, oh, great. I love 7-Eleven. There's fucking snacks there. Okay, let's go to 7-Eleven. Well, that fucking explains it.
Yeah. So perfect.
Oh my God.
We did it. We shared the stories. Now I guess the audience can vote who had the worst, the cringier story. Great. Next segment. Number 7, review recap. Review or recap a song, album, event, concert, festival, award show, sporting event, etc., book, game, show, or movie. Now, this is obviously very different from recommendation. Now we're supposed to give a full review and or recap of a piece of media. So please enlighten us.
Sure. I mean, this actually kind of works out really well with the Boomer Zoomer Book Club because I purchased for $5, I think it's Archie Digest number 297. And the reason I bought it is because a listener told me that there's that the main story, the A story of this Archie's Digest is Archie gets way too into a new video game called Fortnite. Fortnite. It opens with Archie and Jughead, and they're playing Fortnite. They're having way too much fun. They love playing the Fortnite. They're getting really into it. Veronica, who's dressed to the 10s, forget the 9s. Like she couldn't, because she's on a different planet from 9s. Veronica is looking hot as hell, and he's like, hey, Archie, aren't you going to pay attention to me? I'm one of your 2 super fuckable girlfriends, and I'm also rich. And then Archie's like, not now, Ronnie. I'm playing Fortnite. And Jughead goes, Fortnite is so addicted that instead of eating every hour, now I'm eating every 2 hours. And so Veronica goes, oh, fuck. Well, the only way I'm going to get some fucking attention from this redheaded dipshit is to, with a weird birthmark on the side of his head, is to fucking get super good at Fortnite. So she goes to a video game store. She meets the inventor of Fortnite. She pays him an absurd amount of money to teach her private lessons. And then Veronica meets back up with the boys and goes, hey, let me play this Fortnite game. And Jughead and Archie are like, okay, but we're pretty good at this game, so you're going to have a lot of trouble beating us. And then Veronica wipes the floor with Archie and Jughead. And then Archie goes, Hey, well, this game's not so much fun anymore that I've been beaten. Why don't we go down to Pops for a milkshake? Which I assume means oral sex. And then Veronica goes, yeah, right after this game. Oh my God, I gotta get fucking first place at Fork Night. And now the tables truly have turned. Veronica's addicted to Fork Night. The end. So, for the Boomer Zoomer Book Club, I recommend that you pick up Archie Digest number 297. I think that's the number. I forgot to write it down. I was not planning on talking about it this episode, but it's got the Archie Fortnite comic in it. I like the Fortnite comic. It's out of the 3 pieces of Fortnite media I have read, the Fortnite comic book, the Lost in Fortnite, Trapped in Trouble Trove, and the Archie thing. The Archie story is the best. Short, sweet. Veronica looks great. Love it.
Wow, that sounds really delightful. I'm surprised you like it more than Fortnite. You were so enamored by that book.
I like the art in Fortnite, and I like the basic concept of Fortnite, but if you can replace all the farts with bullets and the story's still the same, then you're not truly relying on the farts. You know what I mean? I don't want the farts to be an afterthought or window dressing. I want the farts to be the main course.
Okay. Well, I'm sure everybody was enthralled by your description of the story in that Archie comic.
Thank you.
And now, I guess it's my turn to just recap something I watched, I guess.
Okay.
I guess like 95% of YouTube review channels, they just tell you what happened in the movie and then give a score out of 10. You know,
yeah.
They say that film criticism is dead, but I'd say no. Go to YouTube, type in The Last Jedi review. You will learn that film criticism is not dead. Here's a film that deserves to be looked upon a little bit more. Asterios, have you seen the movie A Serbian Film?
I have not.
You see, I feel like I need to branch out more. I watch too much American cinema. I've been trying to watch more Korean films lately, trying to get into some European hoity-toity, sticking your pinky out while you're drinking Diet Coke kind of movies. And the country of Serbia, it turns out, makes films as well. Not very creative in naming them because it's just called A Serbian Film. But it's the story of a retired porn star named Milos, who now has settled down with a beautiful wife, young son. He's leaving his porn star lifestyle behind him. But then, could you believe it? An eccentric billionaire comes up and says, Milos, I want to make the greatest piece of art of all time, Milos. Come back for one last job and I'll make you a rich, rich man. You can take care of your family, Milos. And Milos, he's like, well, I wanted to leave that life behind me, but one last job? What could possibly go wrong, right, Asterios? What could go wrong?
So far, I like the premise of this movie a lot. Please keep going.
No, I think it's a genuinely Kino film.
Oh, cool.
I mean, anytime somebody says, come back for one last job, you'll probably survive that job and everything will be okay, right, Asterios? You've seen a lot of movies.
That's what happens every time in every film, so yeah. I hope this time isn't different at all.
Well, long story short, the auteur, the rich man who wants to make the greatest porno, he believes in art so much that he is willing to die for his art.
Oh no!
So they drug Milos with like bull testosterone injection or something to make him go really crazy, and he's like bloodlust monster man. So they're like filming him fuck this chick who is tied down to a bed, and then he like takes a hacksaw and like kills her while they're having sex.
Oh God!
And
okay.
Then he like eventually he breaks out of it when they tried to make him have sex with like an 11-year-old girl, and he goes crazy and jumps out the window, and he's running through the streets of Serbia naked, like a crazy, angry, horny bull. And then they find him and they kidnap him and they drug him up some more. And then they take him down to the basement to film the final scene, where there are 2 bodies that are like they have like hoods on their heads, so he can't.
Is it his wife and kid?
It might be his wife and kid.
Oh God!
And his brother, or I guess his brother, who was always jealous of him, is fucking his wife. And then Milos realizes that he himself is fucking his young son. And then they decide to all kill themselves when they get home. And then after Milos kills himself and his wife and his son, it's revealed that it's still part of the porno movie, and the film crew is standing in the bedroom. And then the director says to one of the big guys, hey, start with the youngest one. And then it smash cuts to credits. And that's the Serbian film. So next we have number 8 is Social Media Minute. Create a hashtag.
Okay, social. Create a hashtag. Got it.
Read out the post. So I think our Social Media Minute is hashtag Ask a Boomer, Ask a Zoomer, Asterios. Do we have any good ones this week?
Let me see if we have any good Ask a Boomer, Ask a Zoomers. We don't. I don't think we have too many here, but I got a couple of updates to the hashtag Boomer Zoomer Weight Loss Challenge.
Whoa, okay.
Zoomer Luke has checked in since the beginning of this challenge. He has gone from 255 pounds to 213 pounds.
Oh, shit.
That's almost 40 pounds.
That's a third of my body weight.
Yes, exactly. That's like a couple of babies worth of weight.
That's like Milos' son.
Yes.
Are you going to watch this movie with me?
No, I can't. So congratulations to Zoomer Luke. Zoomer Joseph, he's been looking to cut fat while bulking up. And so he's gone from 176 pounds to 165 pounds, but more importantly to him, with absolutely no strength loss. I know that's something that you're looking to do too, is you're looking to get more cut, more defined, more
that's right.
fit.
It's not about losing
thinner.
weight. It's about bulking up.
Yeah, exactly. And then let me see who else we've got here. A guy named John Johnson, a Canadian boomer. He's doing the One Punch Man workout.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, he's running 10 kilometers, doing 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups per day. He's at 200 pounds. He's hoping to get to 180. He says, quote, "Thank you guys for inspiring me."
He's going to go bald. I hope he knows it. I hope he's ready for that.
That guy still looks cool. I like that guy. I like that One Punch Man guy. Yeah, I like that guy. He's a cool guy.
All right.
So hey, if you want to participate in the Boomer Zoomer Weight Loss Challenge, just tweet at me with your current weight, your goal weight, and whether you're a boomer or a zoomer, and we'll read it here on the show. And if I haven't read yours yet, send it to me again. I'm sorry. I lost some of them. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, speaking of reading things on the show, number 9, quote of the day. Whether you have a funny or inspirational quote to share, they both make for a great segment on your podcast. And I got a quote for you to read right there, Asterios.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Scrolling down to 9. Oh, God.
It helps to read it out loud for the podcast.
I'm going to read some of it.
Okay.
I eventually grew to hate him after I heard him having blank with my blankster. I arrived at the house one day. My mother was at work. Oh, God. This is some sort of... Hopefully this is some sort of incest copy pasta that Mumpke Jones has located. I'm not reading it.
You want me to read it then? I can read it.
No. Why? Let's...
I think the people need to hear it, Asterios. It's the quote of the day.
Do they need... How about this?
I eventually grew to hate him after I heard him having sex with my sister. I arrived at the house one day, my mother being at work, and heard the sounds of Samuel plunging his penis.
Okay, there we go. This is enough. And now if you want to hear the rest of the quote, take it upon yourselves, kids. Do the legwork. You fucking millennials want to be handed everything. Us boomers had to work for everything we were given.
Here's the problem. The quote is attributed to unknown. I don't know who said this, Asterios. I was hoping the chat could help if I gave them the context of the full quote.
Hey, nobody knows who wrote the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, but we still all sing it drunk on karaoke night. You know what? Some things are best left unattributed.
So number 10
what's
is Spotlight.
The next quote? Spotlight, great.
Feature an artist, album, movie, show, destination, specific topic, or anything else that you would like to talk about more in depth. Do you have anything in your life you would like to shine a spotlight upon, Asterios?
Yeah, I guess if there is something that I think an interesting topic that we can all discuss, is a lot of people are saying that Game of Thrones is the last TV show that we as a whole culture are going to watch together. Like, the media landscape is becoming fragmented. There's some people that are on Netflix, there's some people that are on Hulu, some people are here, some people are there. And so, like, kind of like Seinfeld and Cheers and Friends, Game of Thrones is truly like a show where everybody can kind of plug in to the culture. So, you know, if you haven't watched it, you know, now's as good a time as any to hop on. Are you going to be confused? Sure, but everything's fucking confusing that show.
You would say hop in season 8 and just don't catch up?
That's what I did for Breaking Bad, and I had a really good time. I just hopped into the last season of Breaking Bad, and I was like, I'm sure there's like deeper shit happening and like callbacks, and I'm sure there's like some delicious dramatic irony to this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a real fun fucking show I'm watching here. And so I had a good time. So
you're killing me, Smalls. Well, that's disgusting.
The spotlight I'm trying to, it's just like, there's no, you're never going to have all the time it takes to watch all of Game of Thrones, all of Doctor Who, all of this, you're never going to just hop in and have some fun with it. You'll be able to talk with the guys around the water cooler at work about Daenerys. Look, I've never seen I've seen exactly one episode of Game of Thrones. I know that Daenerys Targaryen and fucking Jon Snow are aunt and uncle fucking. That's fun. Like,
now we can talk about incest on the show, Asterios. It's okay when you do it.
You know, it's also okay when they're not explicitly children that we're discussing.
Children?
Yes! Yes!
You don't think adults live with their parents and fuck while their mom's at work?
While their 80-year-old mom is up. Okay. So the spotlight, Game of Thrones, kids, it's never too late to know that winter is coming. Okay. Is there anything you want to spotlight on? Like perhaps Mein Kampf?
Yeah, there's this great podcast. It's similar to Mein Kampf. It's called The Loudest Podcast.
Oh, God damn it.
About this loud guy who screams in his apartment at his girlfriend. It's really funny. Go check it out.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost the same as Mein Kampf.
Okay.
I mean, the man does struggle a lot, and the struggling comes out. He has a body pillow that is so explicit he doesn't know how to legally show it. That's his struggle. He says this is Mein Kampf.
I suppose they both are frustrated artists in a way. Okay.
Number 11, advice of the day. Have you got any advice, resources, tools, etc.? I think as a boomer, it is your job as our elder to give us daily advice.
Sure.
If you give a man a match, he'll have a fire for a day. But if you light a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life. I need you to give me advice that will keep me warm for the rest of my life.
Well, that would have made a great quote of the day. I guess a lot of people text me and they ask for advice on starting a podcast. They start.
Tell them to go to live365.com/blog and just do whatever this page says. It makes an easy podcast.
Just fucking do what this goddamn girl who got paid $20 to shit out some words right before Christmas into WikiHow, into lower rent WikiHow. My advice would be, everyone always tries to start with the format. Don't start with the format. Start with the friendship. No one's listening to your show because it's got an amazing format. They're listening to your show because they like to hear friends talk, which is actually ironic because that's kind of. I'm not kidding. I'm kind of just scrambling to answer Mumkey's random prompts, and I guess that kind of does go antithetical to what that dude said about the show being. Because you know how many fucking podcasts there are that are just like, here's the wackiest news of the week. Florida man shit in an alligator's mouth.
Boomer news.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so many podcasts where it's like, I'm going to play all of the video games that came out that weren't Nintendo approved. They weren't Nintendo certified. Our first one is Eggsy, the egg game. Like, it's like no one gives a shit about your format. They want to hear you have fun with your friends. There's advice done. Okay, done.
Okay. Number 12.
We're almost there. Okay.
Requests. Have your listeners, friends, and family submit news, topics, and other requests for you to talk about. Has anybody sent in a request? They really want to get our hot take on anything that we haven't talked about yet as Stereos.
Let's see. Yes, actually, Princess Maria wants to know where she is on the BOOMER scale. Do you mind if we go through that?
Let's do it. That sounds like a request to me.
All right, so Princess Maria says she's a 20-year-old woman. She mostly watches cartoons. She wants to know, am I a boomer, doomer, oomer, bloomer? What the fuck am I? She's 20.
Should be a clown.
Yeah, she actually should. If she were a clown, but she'd be way happy.
Yeah.
20-year-old woman, mostly watches cartoons, loves classic Looney Tunes, Duckman, Ed, Ed, and Eddie, and Drawn Together. She says, oh, God, I can't even read this.
What?
Oh, my God.
Did she
Why
say
is
that she
everything
fucked her
everybody
brother?
says to be super offensive? She writes, okay, this isn't the offensive part. She writes, I'm transgender but not liberal.
That's what offended you?
No, it's not what offended me. Then she writes, I constantly act like a giant whore, yet I'm still a virgin. I don't like saying that phrase, and I don't like that there's footage of me saying that phrase.
Whatever.
She says, the only music I listen to are Video Game OSTs and Rusty Cage music.
Oh.
Play video games, owns every Nintendo and PS4. So she likes cartoons, video games, Rusty Cage. She acts like a, quote...
No, I think we got it.
Okay, what do you think?
I'm leaning towards Zoomer for two main reasons. One, 95% of Rusty Cage fans are children, famously under the age of 12. So, but maybe she falls into that 5%. But here's where I think we'll cinch it here. I believe that Drawn Together is a show that no boomer could possibly enjoy because it's far too offensive to them. I see you're agreeing. You don't like Drawn Together.
That was straight up going to be the only words in this paragraph that are important are the words drawn together. Like, if you like Drawn Together, you watched it when you were 9. And it was fun to watch, like, the slutty Betty
Her name
Boop
is
curse. Okay, it was funny to watch Toot curse and to watch a girl with the fucking fox cap and that had the voice of...
Her name is Foxy Love, please.
Okay, it was fun to watch Foxy Love, who also was the voice actress from one of the Rugrats, fucking around. And then, it was fun to watch a pig voiced by...
Adam Carolla.
Voiced by Adam Carolla. God,
it's not a show for boomers then, because I guess that might be one of the ultimate boomer zoomer tests is, do you find the show funny? Because I think it's fucking hilarious. I love that show.
It is. It is the boomer. It is. In fact, interestingly, I think it is the defining boomer zoomer shibboleth.
Boomers like this show at all?
No, absolutely we don't, because we're watching it and we're just like, oh, look, someone made Family Guy worse. Like, this is great. It's like if Family Guy was trying even less hard. Fantastic.
I think the philosophy behind Drawn Together, and I guess I'll do this for my spotlight since I didn't really do one, comes from the Drawn Together movie, which famously fans of the show don't like as much as the normal show, but I found it to be... a fascinating piece of satire that really, they fly their flag proudly with that movie. Because the plot of the movie is that in real life, in reality, Drawn Together was canceled and the time slot was replaced with reruns of South Park. And the reruns of South Park performed better than brand new episodes of Drawn Together. So the whole point of the movie was that South Park is full of shit because they think the only way you can do offensive, raunchy humor is to have some stupid moral where at the end, Stan or Kyle stands there for 2 minutes saying, oh, here's what I learned today, blah, blah, blah. Drawn Together says, fuck that. You can be raunchy and offensive with no moral lesson, with no rhyme or reason. Adult cartoons shouldn't feel restricted in this way, like we need to give a childlike message, like a fucking Rocky and Bullwinkle bullshit. Why can't we have a show like Drawn Together, where it's just balls to the wall insanity, offensive for the sake of being offensive, not even trying to be funny, just trying to make people angry and sickened. And that's why I love the show so much, because it didn't try to be more than it was. It just wanted to be the most offensive shit it could be, and I really appreciate it for that. There's no pretense to Drawn Together. It is what it is.
I Well, I'm glad you admitted that the show wasn't trying to be funny. It's pretty obvious the show was not trying very hard at all. Like
it was trying hard to be offensive and raunchy, and I think it was very successful based on how much you hate it.
It's not hard to be offensive. A 12-year-old can be offensive. I remember one time, like, my 4-year-old niece came up to me and she went like, "Your nose is huge and your eyebrows are big and your face looks different." And I was very offended by that. I couldn't show her or tell her because she's 4 years old. She's just saying what she sees. But yeah, she didn't have to fucking go to Harvard to learn how to. It's like, it's not hard to trigger people. If it was, so many people wouldn't be doing it all the time. I don't think that a cartoon needs a South Park moral. I definitely almost never want to know the creator of a television show's opinion, which is why I like a lot of episodes of Futurama where it's kind of like they'll do a whole episode about trying to save animals, but then a whale will just eat all of the animals. And they'll go, well, I guess this is also nature. And then they'll end the episode all slicing into a dolphin like it's a Thanksgiving dinner. And like, I love Futurama because you're just kind of like, what the fuck does David X. Coden think about eating animals? I don't know. It seems like he's expressing every possible opinion intelligently. But the thing is, it's like in a story, a character does have to learn something. That thing doesn't even have to be correct or moral. But it's like, if your characters don't go through it, like, for example, in Breaking Bad, Walter White learns how to be a worse person. Like, the season 4 finale is him celebrating the fact that he poisoned a baby to get Jesse to help him kill the chicken guy. Like, his character changes. He learns something. What he learns is terrible, but his character becomes worse. And it's like, for storytelling to work, things have to progress. And on fucking Drawn Together, that never happens. They're just
that's the
nonstop
point.
poo and pee.
That's the philosophy of the show, is that it's all absurdity. There doesn't need to be, like, there'll be like a plot that they go through, but characters don't learn things. They don't change for the better. And it's a fucking cartoon anyway, so it's not like episode to episode. They're like, even South Park, the characters never age. Every time they learn a lesson, it's pointless because the whole thing gets reset the next episode anyway, at least up until the last couple seasons where they're trying to do a continuous storylines and shit.
But they're only doing that because they're super bored. Because they're all in their 50s now and they don't know what else the fuck to do with their lives. But like,
I like the philosophy of Drawn Together because it's, hey, let's take these 7 or 8 cartoon tropes throughout history, raunch them up to like level 10 offensive stereotypes and horrible sexual violence and bullshit. Do a Big Brother Survivor parody where they all have to live in the same house, and then just come up with the most offensive, crazy, wacky shenanigans you can for 22 minutes at a time. You don't need a character to go through a story and learn a lesson. It's 22 minutes of mindless entertainment. What else do we have that provides that niche?
But this is mindless entertainment. B,
this podcast?
Yes, exactly. I hope it's mindless entertainment. B, like, even if the lesson that Foxy learned was how to be a better pimp or something, that would be a satisfying. Like, even if Toot learned that she can take 4 dicks now, like if an episode started with her being like, oh man, my body can only take 3 dicks, but she tries and leaves her comfort zone and eventually learns how to get that 4th dick in there, like, you don't need morality, you just need progression.
Well, I mean, sometimes,
anyway.
I mean, it's not like they never do that. There's one where Ling Ling, it's like a parody of Pokemon. He's a Japanese pocket monster who looks like Pikachu. There's an episode where he gets a surgery where, and you're going to like this. He's a Japanese character. So he gets a surgery where they tape his eyes open. So then, like, you can see it from his perspective, and no longer is the world looks like a Japanese anime. When his eyes are more open, he just looks normal. And then he learns at the end that he would rather be Japanese.
I'm glad that that the Drawn Together writers' room went down to the playground where fourth graders were talking about how Asian American general might put urine in your Coca-Cola. Like it's not. And actually, unfortunately, I have to go real soon, so we got to get through the last two. I'm so sorry. I got to help out. Sriracha's sick, and I have to help her with something. But the thing is, it's like writing down the most offensive things you could think of is called the first draft. Like, it's not hard to write down the most offensive things you could think of. It's hard to write down the funniest things you could think of. They're often not the same.
But what's hard
I'll let you have the last word.
Well, what's hard is to write down the most offensive things you can think of and then convince a network to let you put in high quality animation to bring this shit to life and then have it air on television. And I know it's hard to do because it's only happened once and it was called Drawn Together.
No, the fucking Comedy Central made 1 million South Park clones. They did that show where fucking David Cross had a fucking cartoon about a bunch of disabled, handy-capable superheroes. Like the moment comedy, I used to intern at Comedy Central. The moment that Comedy Central got South Park, they started saying, "Bring us South Park 2." Next week, maybe we can look at the Wikipedia page for like Comedy Central cartoons that like Brickleberry that have gotten one season and were super offensive and nobody fucking gives a shit about it anymore. But like, yeah, it's hard to be first. Like it was hard to do what South Park did. Not hard to be second.
Okay.
Right,
we'll talk. So if you really have to go, I can do the 13th one on my own.
Thank
if you really got to go.
No. Let's do it together.
Okay, 13. The final one is time travel, Asterios.
Oh, interesting.
Look back at a specific podcast episode and reflect on what has changed since then. And I think we should take you back to the past, all the way back to classic episode 2.
I knew this was coming.
It was a different time. The podcast was fresh. We weren't sure what to do with it. And I thought, hey,
oh my God,
let's invite on a special guest for episode 2. We got the late great of Screen Junkies fame, Asterios, Andy Signore, recently cast out and rejected by Hollywood and the LA types, forced to live in Florida, accused of all these horrible things. And we gave him a platform on our show. It was a very different time. I was in the prime of my career. I had a huge, successful YouTube channel that was bringing in the dough. I was really happy with my position in life, and I was excited to have one of my internet heroes, one of my Zoomer heroes, Andy Signore, onto the show. And of course, much like that interview, it really went the way of my channel a few months later. I think that interview in episode 2 was the beginning of the end for me, where everything started to fall apart. And I think it's the fault of whoever messed up that interview. But I haven't listened back to it. What happened in that interview that it went so poorly, Asterios?
Well, I'd like to say a couple things. First off, isn't it ironic that Andy Signore, if your channel had gotten canceled before, like a month or two earlier, Andy Signore would not have reached out to you trying to suck up to someone who already had internet fame. So like Andy Signore was trying to Hollywood you from what I assume is his parents' house in Tampa, Florida. B, we had a plan for how we were going to handle the Andy Signore thing. We were going to try to slow play him and let the irony kind of be a subsurface, like a true satire, like a Swiftian satire, where, like, at no point does Jonathan Swift in A Modest Proposal go, "No, I don't want you to really eat babies. I'm just trying to make a larger point here." But I just got so mad at him. I just got so angry at that guy for just like trying to deny reality that I just kind of popped off on him. And I guess if I had it to do all over again, I'd try to hold on to my shit more and milk him for more lulls, like a true lulz farmer would. But at the time, I wasn't a lulz farmer. I was like a lulz page, like a lulz squire, a lulz ball boy, if you will, like a lulz caddy to Mumkey's lulz Tiger Woods or lulz night. And so I'd like to apologize to our listeners for not doing a better job screwing that guy in a funnier way. Next time, I'll do better.
And I think we have completed what I assume Sue Slime in the chat or in the comments wanted us to do. We became a more traditional podcast. We went through all the tenets of a 13 creative podcast segment ideas. We went through all 13 of them. So now we should be just like any other podcast that you listen to, and you should not be wondering, oh, when are they going to talk about the thing that I expect them to talk about? There you go. We did it. Welcome to Clown World, motherfucker! Oh! Asterios, do you want to plug our tour real quick?
Sure. No, of course I do. But I do want to say that having gone through the exercise of rigorous formatting, I definitely hope that people stop crawling up your ass about what the format of the show is, because like what you want, that was really difficult and not fun to do. I had to look at a lot of quotes about incest and 2 references to the greatest war crime of the 20th century, and I'd kind of rather just chill out and talk with my friend about Archie comics in a way that doesn't need to be teed off on so much. What do you think, Mumpky Jones? Do you think that rigorous formatting helps or hurts Boomer versus Zoomer?
No, yeah, I think every episode we should go through these 13 things. Just every single time. The same exact show every week. Just slightly different.
Well, it could be worse. It could be 14 things. Well, anyway, listen, that's it for Boomer versus Zoomer. Sheepover was nice enough to make a tour site.
Whoa!
Yeah, forget about going to my Twitter or finding what fucking link I tweeted on what fucking day. Just go to boomerversuszoomer.com and you will find tickets to all of our shows. We're doing New York City on Friday, June 7th. We're doing Boston, Saturday, June 8th. New Jersey on Saturday, June 15th. We're doing Caldwell, Texas on August 3rd. We've sold 4 tickets to it, which is not even enough money to pay for the gas it would take to get to Caldwell, Texas. So unless more people buy tickets to that show, or alternately, Texans, if you are a Texan in Austin and you can let us use your house or apartment for a night to do a show, we will do it in Austin. I keep hearing from Texans being like, I don't want to drive to Caldwell. It's 90 minutes away from Houston. It's 90 minutes away from Austin. Well, if you don't want to drive a single fucking foot, just let us do a goddamn show in your goddamn backyard, in your barbecue pit, your stone patio or whatever. God damn it, we'll have fun, and then we can sleep in your house and eat the food.
Yeah.
But Chicago, Thursday, August 22nd. Toronto, Saturday, August 24th. And we are ending the tour in Montreal on Sunday, August 25th. We're going to New York, Boston, New Jersey, Texas, Chicago, Montreal, and Toronto. We're still looking for a gig in Orlando, and we're looking for a gig in Pennsylvania. So if you can help us out, anyone in Austin, if you're in Orlando, or if you're in Pennsylvania, and you can help us out if you know of a local theater that we can rent out for the night for like $50, $100. If you know of a VFW hall, maybe your dad's in the VFW and you can help us out over here. If you want tickets to all these shows, you can go to boomerversuszoomer.com. Thanks to Sheepover.
And in the meantime, if you still want to see the video version of this podcast, you have to go to either patreon.com/mumkey or patreon.com/Asterios. No more freebies. I think the audio version will still be posted to Asterios' YouTube page, but not the video version. So go subscribe to us on iTunes and Podbean and all those other podcasting platforms if you still want to get the show delivered straight to your phone every single week. And frankly, I think that's all the time we have, Asterios.
Yeah, and literally, 9:28 p.m., 19 minutes ago, I got an email from YouTube. Limited or no ads remain on your video, The Loudest Podcast number 11. After manually reviewing your video, we've confirmed that it isn't suitable. We talk about Garfield. We talk about Garfield on this show for a fucking... This is such goddamn horse shit. I'll tell you something off air. I'll text it to you off air. I got some news about this. All right, but that's it. So for Boomer versus Zoomer, I've been Asterios Kokodos.
I've been Mumkey Joe, and see you guys next time.
Take care.